Oh, this is the bit in the show where they all go away and they leave me alone with you. Just me and you. I can handle it if you can.
On a farm in Scotland, Paul McCartney conjures up the song Blackbird, a playfully harmonic relationship between bass and melody inspired by Johann Sebastian Bach's Bore in E minor. Paul says Bach was one of our favorite composers. We always felt we had something in common with him. Paul developed the melody for Blackbird based on Bore and Beatlefied it to give it a more updated feel. Notoriously, the Beatles didn't know how to read music, and from less than posh upbringings had mixed feelings about classical music.
I was always frightened of classical music, and I never wanted to listen to it because it was Beethoven and Tchaikovsky and sort of big words like that, and Schoenberg. I mean, something like a taxi driver the other day had some sheet music of a Mozart thing, and I said, "What's that?" You know, he said, "Oh no, you won't like it. You know, it's high class. That it's very high class, highbrow," and that kind of way, I always used to think of it. I used to think, well, you know, that's very clever, all that stuff. And it isn't, you know, it's just exactly what's going on in pop at the moment. Pop music is the classical music of now.
But they always maintained that they were fans of music. All music. All music. Like, all music. Paul says that the lyrics were inspired by the civil rights movement in America. Blackbird to represent a woman facing oppression. Bird in Britain being a colloquial term for girl. Paul says instead of writing black woman living in Little Rock, Arkansas, he would veil it to add a little bit more symbolism. He says his message was, let me encourage you to keep trying, keep the faith, there is hope. I think that feeling is useful to so many of us these days. A short while after composing Blackbird, evening quietly settles on the streets of London. Paul invites his future wife Linda over to his home, which would be the first night she's spent over. Fans waiting outside the gates, hoping to catch a glimpse of the elusive Beatle. Margot Stevens, an onlooker, says, there was a feeling in the air that something was going to happen that night. Paul usually parked his Mini inside the gates of the house, but for some reason, on this night, he parked it on the street. He and Linda walked past the adoring fans and made their way inside. The fans stood there, watching the house, seeing lights go on and off for some time. At the top of the house, where Paul kept all his music equipment and toys, a light can be seen. Suddenly, Paul opens the window and hollers down to the crowd, "Are you still there?" To which they replied in unison, "Yes!" Paul sat on a windowsill at the top of his house with an acoustic guitar and sang Blackbird for the crowd quietly waiting in the dark. That must have been an electrifying experience. Not only to have a free concert in the middle of the night in London, but to hear an unreleased Beatles song live. And what a one to hear.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life you were only waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life you were only waiting waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night.